I'm Tony Ruiz of Gold Derby here with Stephen Root from Barry.
Yay!
And Stephen, we were talking beforehand, is that there is something about this season that I think has just kind of really, it's gone into another stratosphere. And so from your perspective, what do you think it is about this season that has put it on that level?
Well, I mean, the writing has always been amazing on the show. I thought it was amazing last year, especially, but I think it's the writing has gone to a different level this year. And the fact that Bill got to direct as many episodes as he wanted. I mean, Alec directed some amazing episodes. Bill's, I think, very, very happy to have his vision seen in this season, and that's what you're seeing.
Well, and we talk about. I mean, it's been 3 years really since the previous season, and coming back to it after that kind of break is something that doesn't happen a lot. Now it seems to be happening more because of what we're going through.
Yeah, it was a long haul. Plus, coming back for me and my character, I'm coming back to a season where I don't have any interaction with the main cast for the most part. I'm acting with some tremendous actors, but they are not the regulars of this cast. So that's been an interesting conflagration. But it kind of helped, I think, in terms of being away so long. An entirely new thing is happening with this character.
Yeah, Fuchs. It's always he's such a fascinating character to me, because I guess on a show like this, he would be kind of considered kind of like the villain, but there is such an endearing quality to him, because deep down, he really loves Barry. He really does. I think I said this the other day. I said he's 98% for himself, for what he wants. He's 1%. He loves Barry, and the other percent he wants to kill Barry, and that's this guy. He cannot break out of the revenge cycle, no matter what idyllic situation he's in, and that's pretty much what's happened this season. What do you think it is about him that he's just so focused and determined on
that? I think he's the guy that you saw in the back of any battle, in being the cook and selling all the stuff that they did need up front. He's that kind of guy. He's a scavenger guy, and he's always been that. And he found a way to scavenge Barry as soon as he got out of the Marines into a business deal. I think that probably took about a year or so to get him to do this, but then he was in a deal with him. And I think that's part of the reason why Bill and Alex started this guy out as a bad uncle. He wasn't an evil person, and he really did care for Barry after he came back. He didn't put him into a very good situation, but I think that's why they started with the bad uncle thing for this guy. He's not a complete a-hole. He's just a scavenger. He really is.
He also seems to me to be very kind of like, he reminds me a lot of those people that were always picked last for something, and when they finally get a little taste of acceptance, they are so desperate to hold on to it.
Absolutely. They want you to think they're something. They really want you to think they're something. And he tries to do that throughout this season. I think it's interesting that he hasn't come after Barry as much as he's not happy with him, that he's let other people do it.
Well, and the first few episodes this season, Fuchs is in hiding, being kept in hiding by Hank, and that environment that you were in, that cabin, and the kind of deserted area that you're in, it's almost could be like its own show, I feel like.
Absolutely. That could have gone on for a year.
Did you feel like you were kind of making your own little movie there?
Yeah, he could have been in Chechnya for a while, doing all sorts of interesting things for Hank if they had wanted to. But I'm glad they got him back. I don't think he's psychologically able to not go back to exact revenge. I mean, he was sitting with two tremendous girlfriends. Nope, got to go back and get married.
And a lot of cereal.
And a lot of cereal, yeah, with goat milk on it. Oh, the goats. The goats were great. It was the goat herders were more of a problem. They weren't a problem, but we'd do these big wide shots with them, you know, and they'd say, okay, rolling, and Stephen, get the lead goat and ready. And then you goat herders, you go off to the side and get the shot. And he'd go, action. And they would just stand there. And he'd say, no, you got to get out of the frame. You got to go all the way to there. Okay, great. Action. No. so herding the goat herders was the main part of the goat show, shooting that.
But when Fuchs does come back, I think one of the things one of the things that where the comedy and the tragedy comes from is the way he sets things in motion.
Yes.
And there are these kind of unforeseen consequences.
And in the middle of probably being caught, finding a way to turn it around on whoever's talking to him. That was one of the most fun things that I got to do this year.
I've heard you use the term character actor, and some actors like that term, some actors don't. What do you feel? What do you think about that term?
I voraciously say yes. I'm definitely a character. I've always been a character actor. I always wanted to be a character actor. Wanted to be, all these guys in the 40s and 50s who you watch the movie for. You want to see. What's his name in The Wizard of Oz do 5 parts. You want to see those guys. And that's what I always wanted to be once I started doing it. So I want to do different stuff. And I was luckily able to start out with serious stuff and then go to straight comedy for a long time and then get out of that and started doing both. And I was lucky to be able to do that.
And I feel like this show, we were talking beforehand about the way the show combines the darkness and the comedy, sometimes in the same scene. A horrifying scene can be also, you find yourself feeling guilty for laughing at it.
Absolutely. That's the brilliance of the writing. And that's a great analogy, because you have to do that in the scene sometimes. You have to do comedy and serious acting, but it's both predicated on the truth of the scene, and the writing is what makes it either funny or drama, tragic. Yeah.
And this season, I think also, we've had some amazing directorial pieces, and I think people don't necessarily think of Bill as a director. What is he like as a director?
Well, that's what he came to town to do. He didn't come to act, he came to direct. And he started as a PA like everybody else did and got discovered for his acting before he got directing. But as a director, he's a dream, because he's an actor. So you can short speak with him as like, do that thing where you did the thing. Okay, all right. And that's great because he's very specific about what he wants to see. He wants to see different things in your face happen during these scenes, and he's specific about what he wants to see. I mean, you get there by yourself, but he's very specific and tremendous director, I think.
One of my favorite scenes this whole season has been Fuchs with the kind of like the bikers, and them just kind of like continuing their routine as he's trying to hire them to be assassins. And so I'm curious, what was that shoot like?
Wow, that was so hard, only because of where we were in the dust, and the noise of the motorcycles and having to project above that. But Alec Berg directed that episode and did an amazing job getting all those guys to do stuff and then come up and then talk. Talk. Gorgeous the way he got it all done. And I wish you could see more of it. There's more of that scene of the motorcycles, but You just got to stick to the story. And it was beautiful the way it was done. Yeah.
It's so often the case, I think, with shows, that kind of have, the writer, director, producer, actor starring in the show. But this show feels like an ensemble
It
the
is.
way that a lot of shows don't.
Yeah, it's a true ensemble. Like I feel I reckon it to News Radio. News Radio was a completely egalitarian show. I mean, everybody had their stuff to do. Everybody made it work, and they do on this show as well.
Does the growth in do you see Fuchs as somebody who is even capable of evolving?
No. I want to be I want to be clear. No. He's not going to evolve. He'll either get what he wants or he won't get it. But he's not going to evolve to the point of being a better person. No.
Does that create a challenge in playing him?
Yes, because you got to play him with levels, and I think I've achieved that. But it's as a person, Fuchs is irredeemable in that way. He's not gonna change too much. But he, as I said, he has a soft center for Barry, and that comes out sometimes. Sometimes it's the opposite.
I was thinking, before we were going to do this, I knew I had to ask you because I'm a high school teacher in my normal 9-to-5 job, cool. And Macbeth is the text that I have taught the most in my career. So I have to ask about that.
Please.
Because the Porter is just one of those roles, and you talk about, comedy and drama in the same. Please take me through that experience.
It was a great experience for me because I started Shakespeare. I got straight out of school and got the job at the National Shakespeare Company, which was a bus and truck out of New York, playing small colleges, small theaters, 9 months out of the year, 3 shows in rep. First year we did Comedy of Errors, Romeo and Juliet, and Winter's Tale. Great show. Great show.
Probably the hardest, I think.
But my favorite show I've ever done.
That's what everybody who does that show says.
The best. But so I started there, and I did 3 years of that, based in New York, but of course going all around the country. So to be able to come full circle at this stage of my career and be able to do Shakespeare on film was really, really amazing for me. Yeah, and especially doing it as he shot it as a 40s movie. All those sets were hugely built. We did it all at Paramount. There is not an outside shot in that movie. It's all shot like a late 40s noir, and it was the most fun you could have because you got to have some rehearsal, like a play, just because it took a million years to build those sets. They were so gorgeous. So you had time to play on them a little bit. It was so fun doing it with him. Really, really was. Has Barry kind of changed the trajectory of your career? You got an Emmy nomination for it. Mm-hmm. And I mean, does this feel like a different experience than? Feels a little different. It feels like I've been given some really wonderful opportunities, but I think I'm given, since Barry, I've been given more and better opportunities, just because of the viewership of the show. So it's a blessing for me so much as a character actor to have people be able to see that you can do comedy and drama in one show. What can I do for you? So it's a nice calling card to have for sure.
What do you think it is about this show that blends comedy and drama so well?
Brilliant writing.
Mm-hmm.
I've said lately, I want to look at scripts that are not good but great. These are always great. and whatever I want to do in the future, I want to continue that Witch's Brew of really great writing and really great people around you to work with.
Witch's Brew, and yet it comes back full circle to the Scotch play.
Too much fun. The boys, the Coens. I mean, I do craft service for the Coens. I do it in a minute.
As would I. Everybody go to goldderby.com, make your predictions for the Emmys, and stay tuned for interviews with more contenders throughout the season. Stephen Root, an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this. It was great.